My name is Stephanie Toman, and this series of videos is going to be on word skills beyond the basics. So if you want to do long documents or projects or dissertations, write a book, become famous one day, then there's some areas in here that might be helpful. So it sort of takes you past the starting with Word and using the basics with regard to getting documents out, courseworks, etc. It's going to take you a little bit deeper into some of the features. And the first ones that we're starting with, as you can see, are text editing, autocorrect options, and text wrapping. This may not be what you need, but there will be plenty of other videos in small bite-sized chunks, so you can go in and find what you do need. Thank you.
The find and replace feature allows you to search for words, phrases and sentences, and you may have used this when you've done ESTL before or on your own, whereby you're looking for a lot of instances with a word and changing it, replacing it very quickly with this feature so that you don't have to search all the way through your document. You could spell somebody's name incorrectly, for example, and change it in a matter of seconds. And the thing is, when you're looking for something, even if you use find, quite easily missed if there's a lot of instances. So this is very useful. However, when we come to advanced Word, there's a little bit more going on. As it goes on to say, you can also use it to find and replace other items, page breaks, paragraph marks, font, paragraph formatting, and in this case, it's going to be looking for before spacing. So this is a feature within the syllabus that you would be expected to use. So this is asking us to do find 6 points before spacing and replace with 10 point before spacing. And it won't have find and replace in the exam. You need to know that's the feature that you're using. So if we go into the replace up here on the home tab, you can see that's what it does on the tin if you read it. Click on there, and then we have the find, which some of you may know already from just finding something. The replace, which is what we're going to use, and then the go to, which will go to different areas. And just to state something at the moment, the section area, notice down here on my task, above the taskbar on the status bar there, you've got sections. The sections is on in Advanced Word, and the way that sections gets put on is to tick on a right click on your status bar. You will tick the section area. This is something that's on in the exam, because if you want to go to a particular section, let's make sure my number lock's on, let's try that again, and then go to, you can see that if we go to and close, there is only one section in here, so that's not really very helpful. If I create a section though, it would go to there. So if let's say I create a section here, insert a section break, a continuous one, and now you can see that I now have a section 2. I'll just undo that. But that's what I'm getting at, is that in the exam, this section feature will be on. As you'll go through the syllabus, you'll find there's different ways of finding and making sure that you're in a particular section when you apply something. But now, though, we're going to stick with this process here. So we're going back to the Home tab and the Replace. And we need to drop this down in order to see other items that we can use other than just words. So in here, we have the option to go through this Format tab. So the first thing we've got to do is place our cursor in the Find What, go into the Format and take yourself through this feature to go through up to the ribbon. So we're using the feature to go through and access the ribbon up here, and we need the paragraph. So if we clicked on the paragraph up here, we would get the same dialog box, but we're using the Find and Replace feature, which is behind here. Okay, so here's our before. So it's 6 points before. If we click on there, the PTs will come up 6. If you just mess around and click off things and pop in a 6, then go to the next one, it's not going to do it correctly. You need to make sure that you see the points there. Sometimes it can jump to line, sometimes it can jump to auto, so be really careful. It doesn't suggest or mention the after, so we just leave it blank and we're okay. So there's our spaces before, and it wanted us to replace that with a 10 point before. So back through, make sure we're in the right place with our cursor, back through the system again, go in here, click on the 0, make sure your PT's there, and you could type a 1 in front just to make life easier. So what we've done is we OK that. We've used the find and replace to find spacing before at 6 points, and we're finding that and replacing it with spacing before at 10 points. And then because it's replace all, we click on replace all, and it will tell us in the exam as well, if you're doing it on an online exam and the diagnostic, it will tell you how many replacements there should be. So once you've done that, you can close the feature down, and that's the first one done. And what I've done is I've popped this on here just to help with revision purposes, to remember this particular area. As always, there's always a particular area in Advanced Word. It's a key place to make sure that you select or drop down. The next part, section in the manual and also the syllabus, is to use a feature called unformatted text. So what I want you to do is, if you've got some text somewhere and it's got a lot of different formatting, like red, bold, italic, if you wanted to copy it, but you don't want to carry the formatting with it, go to a new document. Instead of just paste, you can do a paste and then you can do paste special. This brings up the option to do it as unformatted text, so it doesn't carry the formatting with it. This is really useful when you bring things in from other applications or mediums and you want to start with something from scratch, then that has carried none of the formatting that was applied to the previous text. I'm not going to save that. So that's unformatted text using the paste special option. And there it gives you more control on how you copy text is added to the document. Okay. The next area is more about trying to find the feature rather than using it. So this is called the AutoCorrect options. And as you can see here, it's a tool that goes on in the back end of the document. For example, you may have fingers that type the wrong way around. Even though your brain is saying THE, you may put in TEH. And at all times, these things are being corrected automatically. Capitalization is being corrected automatically. And we don't really realize it, but there's a lot of built-in common mistakes that we tend to do grammatical errors on. And this is what the AutoCorrect option does. So if we go into the file area and then into the options, make sure you're in the proofing. That's the thing to remember, that keyword remember. So when we're doing Advanced Word and we're in the exam, we're thinking, what are we applying it to, or where is our cursor? The second thing is, what is the feature and where is it? And the third is to do it, to apply it. So if you try to keep it nice and methodical, you should be okay. You won't go wrong. Okay, so we're now in the proofing and there's the AutoCorrect options. Once you find it, it's pretty straightforward. So there's a couple of areas in the exam that may come up. They may come up with you enabling or disabling, which means ticking or unticking. So they may want you to make sure that the first letter of a sentence isn't automatically done. So you would take that off, you would disable it, or they want you to enable it if it's not ticked. On the PCs at the university, you can't take these off and put them on because they are globally protected by IT services. On your own PC, you should be able to do this and help you to demonstrate it. And in the exam, obviously, the things won't be enabled either. So you will be able to apply it. So you could have tick boxes in this area on the AutoCorrect. You could have replacing words that are commonly spelt a particular way, like colour is a common one that's Americanized, and you want it automatically replaced with the English version of it. So you would add it to see how many there are. on our all the things that we do incorrectly. Details, I think that's one that I notice sometimes I've done. Some are spelling errors, but a lot of them are when you literally your fingers are doing it a different way to what your brain is telling it to. So if you add that, you can see it's been added, you OK. And now when you do that in future, that will correct. And then the final area, let's go back in to look for is the auto format as you type. The apply as you type, this area here could be something that you're asked to enable as well. So the automatic numbered list may be off and they may ask you in the exam to tick it on. So it's very simple. And then you OK right at the bottom. Your dialog box, OK? It's quite simple, but it's just remembering where it is and what the different features are. And I have put them up there just to help you to recall it if you want to go back and revise. The next area within this text editing is the text and flow, wrapping items, wrapping a table, wrapping WordArt, and wrapping the good old image with regard to text. So wrapping a table, if you right click on it and go to table properties, this is your wrapping feature here. You can have a wrap around. You could be asked to wrap left, wrap center, wrap right. So if we OK, if we drag that into text now, you can see how it wraps and the text always goes to the right as much as it can when it sits in there. Okay, so if you right click table properties, you can see that it's to the right. Try different ones just to see what happens. You can see that that's going to the center as much as it can, etc. If you go down to the WordArt, go onto the edge of it, the border edge, and you can format the shape. So it's slightly different, or if you want to, you can actually right click and wrap text there. So you could wrap square, but what we do, you've got all the features here. We want to do the more. So always go to the more layouts. And this auto word art now can be wrapped square, and it could be wrapped both sides, right only. Okay. And then when you drag it, you can see how the text gone down there. Always goes to the right of it if it can. Okay. This picture here, same again, wrap text, pretty much the same as the previous WordArt, more layouts, and we could do tight and left only, OK, and then drag that into text, and you can see how it's really likes to stay on that side of the image. Notice as well, before an image is wrapped, if we go back and unwrap it, okay, so it's got nothing, no features. Notice how hard it is. If you align it or place it, you can only do it through the alignment options. You can't drag, it's no longer floating. It's a hard picture, whereas if you wrap it in your dissertations, for example, or your reports, you can make it really snazzy by bringing in graphics, might be charts, and merging it into your text a little bit. That's in line. So if we go back, oops, you can change the size as well, but we'll just stick to this bit for now, into some more layers, and you could have it tight and bring it in. Okay, so it's quite, it gives that a little bit more pizzazz.